So, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you to the Bucerius Law School and the second PEPNet Summit, the PEPNet Summit 2012. Really happy that all of you came here. And the motto, the topic this year is out in the open, because we found that characterized pretty well a global trend towards more collaboration and participation, and open is the prefix for so many interesting themes like open government, open data, open knowledge, open source, and so on and so forth. So we found out in the open would be a very good title to present what we have planned here during today. Well, the PEPNet project, most of you will know, used to be a European finance project. It has been finalized already, so to speak, in 2010, and it was pretty much successful. So the aim was really to connect different actors and organizations all over Europe concerned with participation or with e-participation. I think we really had quite a success with that. So we thought, what should we do with it after the funding stopped? And our first idea was to build a formal organization and to apply for more funding and to go ahead in the same direction. But then, for several reasons, it never came to this. But actually, we didn't stop. We just kept on going. So we wrote some fresh articles on the PEPNet blog, and we tried to attract new members, and we calmed it a bit, we sized it a bit down because, of course, we hadn't that resources, but we just went on with it without really having a plan where we will end up. So in a way, we found ourselves out in the open, and it's still open what will happen with the network, but as long as we're still able to attract such interesting people here and such great presenters, I think we will go on in that direction. One success of that project is that the connection we initiated are tending to live a life on their own right now. So it's out of control, out of our control. It's not even branded with PEPNet, but I know that lots of things are going out there in Europe. Wouldn't be possible without that PEPNet, without that project, at least in that way. One example is another summit I just attended last week from Thursday to Friday, where the Swedish Association for Local and Regional Governments invited just a dozen experts from all over the world. The farthest came from India, but from the United States and lots of European people. And I found that at least 8 out of that 12 were involved in PEPNet in some regards. So it was really a great experience working with these experts together. And well, we worked on the question, or we tried to help Salah in that regard, how to transfer these pilot projects and these individual particular e-participation projects into a more regular mode of policymaking. That was their question. And what we did when we worked together was, one part was to identify some principles and forms, how these principles come normally into appearance, and that I would like to share with you. It's not a very long list, and it's not that surprising, but I think it gives evidence that we are right on the track, or on the right track here with our title, Out in the Open. So first of all, first general principle was, surprise, surprise, open. Open data, open practice, open access. These are the forms in which they normally happen. The next one was collaborative. So like crowdsourcing, co-design, co-production, and so on and so forth. The next one was trusted, or trust. And one way to achieve this trust was identified by being transparent, or increased transparency. Next general principle was the nature of relationship, which means that individuals are rather have to be perceived as partners or participants, but not as customers, as the ones who just demand or receive a kind of service. Empowered actors with high level of self-efficacy. I don't know if everybody knows what that means. I didn't know it up to now, so I learned a new word. It means basically that people have the feeling that they have, that they can participate if they want to and if they'd like to. So, responsiveness to social change is another general principle, and the network society, and it demands for new kinds of leadership, power and culture, and the blurring of boundaries. Very interesting aspect, I think. Change is normal, so it's nothing exceptional, nothing is last to stay, but we have to face a society with constant innovation. And last but not least is the commitment to representative democracy. And the challenge here will be especially to explore the new role of politician in a networked, collaborative and participatory society. I think politicians will have to adapt and they will have to find a new role within representative democracy. So I would like to invite you right now to test these general principles against what the presenters is going to show you here. I mean, the question will be to which extent all these different approaches and projects will satisfy these kind or will apply to these kind of principles. And I'm pretty sure that all of them will meet some of them, but maybe some of them will meet all of them. We will see. So I just will introduce to you what you can expect here today. We are incredibly proud to have managed to get this kind of lineup here. And first I'd like to mention is the keynote. Our keynote will be held by Professor Patricia Nanz. She's professor at the Bremen University for Political Theory, and she's founder as well of the European Institute of Public Participation. So I'm looking very much forward to her keynote. It was not easy to get her here because she's very busy. One of the results of her busyness is the just published handbook of Handbuch Bürgerbeteiligung for the German-speaking part of the audience. I really can recommend it. It's a very interesting book, and they have mentioned Tutek and Demos as well, so that is, of course, not the only reason to recommend it to you. After the keynote, we will have a sort of panel dealing with different kinds of online activism. I'm also very proud to have here Nick Booth with us. He's the inventor of the so-called social media surgeries, an award-winning civil pattern of activism. He will talk about that and will introduce that to him. And I think it's your birthday today, right? So congratulations very much, and we appreciate it a lot that you came here, nevertheless. Daniel Landfer will then introduce a very interesting and far-reaching project here, which started off here in Hamburg. It's called Hamburg's Transparency Law, and it's currently keeping the whole administration and the whole political class quite busy to deal with it, so very interesting. And also, we will hear something about Next Hamburg, which is a community-driven approach in urban development, presented by Cynthia Wagner. Cynthia Wagner? Okay, we haven't met before, so thanks for coming here. Well, then we will have 20 minutes for the lunch, and during that lunch, or the buffet, we will have two theme corners where short talks and informal networking should take place. And I think you have that in your file, in your map. There is something, some more information about what could be interested for you. So please, there will be enough to eat and enough time to eat, but we would appreciate very much if you would also pay attention to these projects. After the lunch, we will have a very interesting panel dealing with transparency and public participation in architecture. Professor Alenka Craig-Poplin from the Hafen City University will take part and talk about playful public participation in urban planning. We will have Peter Verheeg with us, who is an architect and who claims that architecture is co-productive by its nature, by nature. And we will have Eric Tissing with us, who will show very interesting 3D animated stuff and how it can be used for public participation as well. Then we have another break, and after 15 minutes, the Deputy CIO of the City of Hamburg, Renate Mitterhuber, will present Hamburg's social media guidelines, and Hans Hagedorn from Demos will talk about hypervocal societies, participation in hypervocal societies, and we will have a question and answer session after that, chaired by Nick Booth. So I think you will agree it's really a very, very interesting program we have to face. I'm looking forward to all of you, and now let me welcome very much Dr. Carsten Broster, the head of the Office for Media of the Hamburg State Chancellery, and I'm really grateful that you are here because you show that Hamburg is still supporting the network, and it will be very interesting for us to hear about your view on all that. So thank you very much.